Okay, so today I want to talk about these little handheld arcade machines. So just for start, these are the three little consoles we are having a look today. It's the Game & Watch Nintendo, it's the Galaga little arcade, and then we have a retro machine from my arcade, a small one, and this video is about the screen sizes. So as I said before, just for comparison, that's my old iPhone 4, and this is just to give you an idea about the screen size, because often you have these videos and then people give you like the dimension in inches. I thought everybody knows how an iPhone looks like and how the screen is, so that's maybe easier for you to have an idea. So now you see the Galaga one, which has actually the biggest screen of all of them, and you see it's almost the size of an iPhone 4 screen, and it's exactly the width of an iPhone 4, so it's actually the biggest screen here in this video. And I have to say up front, it's actually also, in my opinion, the best screen, but just because it's the biggest. Now we come to the more expensive, to the retro machine, which has the same screen size more or less like the Game & Watch from Nintendo. It's pretty tiny, both of them. So the Nintendo and the retro machine are actually too small for my aging eyes. But I guess this part of the video here gives you quite a good impression of the different screen sizes. Now you have them all and you can see them. So you see that the Galaga game actually has the best screen sizes, right? And now we do a little quick unboxing of that Galaga Handheld, which has actually a pretty nice packing, to be honest. So you see right away if you open the packing what you get. On the back side you see it's a little description there, and to be honest it's quite a solid packing. I kind of like it. That unit costed me $30, so it's actually the cheapest of all these consoles, and I'd say it's a pretty good price for that console. And it also comes with a manual, but the manual actually doesn't tell you much, but there is not much to tell. Actually, you can actually power this thing via USB-C, but in my case we are using 4 AA batteries, and I'm not sure if you would have rechargeable batteries, if you could actually charge them with a device. I highly doubt it, but as you see, you can either power it up with USB-C or with batteries. Now we have unboxed that thing, and it actually comes with a little pamphlet, if you want to say so, which shows you the different games you can buy. I actually wonder if all of these games would be in the console I have actually, and if you modify it you could actually just play these games. Often with these smaller arcades, they sell different versions, but at the end of the day you can hack into them, and then you have all the games, and not just the games you have on that console. But I didn't find any proof that you can hack it. And now I show you around that console a little bit. So it has a power on button, it has a light button where you can dim the light or make it brighter. Here's the USB-C, and then you have a headphone jack, which is quite handy. But it also has a little built-in speaker. That's where, as I showed you, the batteries go in. Then that's the power on button. There are not too much buttons. Then it starts up, has a little boot screen which reads my arcade, as you see, and then you can choose between the two games with your D-pad, and the D-pad actually just goes left and right. I'm pretty sure with functioning up and down as well. And then you see you have a button here for credits, so it's like the real arcade. You have to insert coins, which you do with that credit button, and then you can actually start playing your game. And as you see, the screen's actually not that bad, so it actually in real life looks better than in this video, because in the video you have these reflections. You don't see them that much if you play it in real life, and I have to say it's actually not too bad. Remember, it's just a $30 console, right? So I'd say the screen is not too bad. Then we can actually switch to the next this console just comes with 2 games. Unfortunately, you always, when you switch, have to go through that kind of animation or boot screen. And now we go to the loading screen. Remember, you always have to push to get credits on that button, and that's actually the second game. They are looking pretty similar, but I actually bought that little console because right now I'm trying to teach myself the programming language Python, and I actually try to program something like Galaga. So that little console, I bought that on purpose just to have like a reference when, and I'm half through that game actually in programming. So the star field and some spaceships and the laser animation I've already programmed. So maybe in a later video I'm actually show you the ready game. I'm just programmed that for, well, to teach myself the programming language Python, and that's why I actually bought that little console. So just to have a reference when I do the programming, just to switch between the programming and that console. And now we come to the next console, which is smaller. This one resembles like a little arcade machine, as you can see here. It has a maybe just half the size of the screen of the Galaga arcade machine. The screen is actually not too bad, I have to say. The controls are pretty okay. It's just hard to film. You see my hands are actually way bigger than that little console, and again the camera angle, it's not that good. So, but believe me, the video is actually, or the little screen is actually not too bad. And the form factor actually with this one, as I said, it resembles like an arcade machine. It's not really handy, to be honest. It's more the looks, but it's not really practical. So the handheld we had before, the Galaga one, it's way better to play. This one, it's quite bulky, has a tiny screen, and so that's more a showpiece. Although this little machine comes with 200 games. I actually wish all of these games would be in the Galaga console, handheld console. That would be pretty awesome. Because these 200 games here, you cannot really enjoy them because it's, as you can see, it's pretty tiny screen. And then with this game here, you see you have to navigate with a joystick, and it's just so tiny. So, but for what it is, it's actually quite nice. I have that thing since a few years. I actually don't play with it. It's just I put it on top of my arcade machine. You see the little speaker here behind, which kind of okay. And the last part of that video, we would actually come a little bit to the Mario Game & Watch, which without any doubt is, if it comes to quality, surely the best console, but it's also the most expensive one. And this one does not have batteries which you can replace, so you have to charge it via USB-C like the Galaga console, which you cannot charge, but you can run it with a USB-C cable. If you run out of batteries, let's say you're in an airplane, you play that, you run out of batteries, I'm talking about the Galaga one and this one, you could actually have like one of these battery packs, right, to power that. And so this one, I guess, looks a little bit like the original Game & Watch games, which I guess they were released in the 80s. You see, if you don't play it, you can actually use it as a watch if you want to, which is, I'd say, a pretty neat function. This one comes with 3 games, but honestly, it's just Mario 1 and Mario 2, which are actually good games. The Mario games are awesome. This little console, if the screen would be double the size, it would be perfect. But you also see just the D-pad is so tiny, and so if that thing, it would be just double the size, this would be so much fun to play. It's just so small. At least with this one, that's the only one where you can have go into settings, so you can actually adjust the brightness of the screen. Also, what you can do, you can adjust the volume in these settings. That's a little bit I'd say a bummer, because with the other consoles, or at least the Galaga one, you have actually a button where you can change the volume while you're playing. Here you have to go into the settings, and then you have to live actually with the sound settings until the game is over. But of course, the quality of the game, Super Mario, I'd say that's maybe the best one. The screen, it's okay, to be honest. You see these reflections here, but that's more due to because I'm just filming that with my iPhone. But the screen is super tiny. You see my thumbnail on the left and the right, and that gives you just an impression how tiny that screen is. The quality of the picture is pretty good, but it's just really too tiny. And you see you can, if you want, switch between the games, and that's, I guess, this one, this ball chuckling game, however you want to call it, that's actually maybe how the original Game & Watch games, with the LCD screens at the time, which, you know, like you had an old digital watch, so they played like this, and it's pretty kind of boring, that game. But I'm pretty sure in the 80s, where you didn't have, early 80s, another handheld device that was nice, but then the Game Boy came out, and I'm pretty sure the Game Boy actually killed also the Game & Watch. That's pretty much the comparison between these three little handheld consoles. If I find some time, I will make a more detailed review, and also with better picture quality, of all of these three different consoles. Right now that was more to show you actually the screen sizes of them, because I've seen a few YouTube videos, but it never gives you the right impression how big or how small these screens are. That's why I compared them to my iPhone 4, and I guess that gives you a quite good idea. And the Galaga one, actually the screen is pretty much okay, I have to say. So that's a pretty good screen, and just for fun, that's my little arcade, and we compare it to my big arcade, which you see I built that arcade on my own, and I can actually convert it to a stand-up racing arcade machine as well, but I can detach the racing wheel. And then to play the racing games, by the way, there's an Xbox Series S in there, so it's pretty good. So you see, if you have to detach the wheel to play some games, but this arcade, okay, I guess I have like 2,000 games on it, so it's pretty much fun. And to be honest, if you want to seriously play arcade games, still a stand-up arcade machine, it's the best. Maybe I make a video about this arcade machine in the future. Thanks for watching.